What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today I'm excited to start a brand new series. We're going to start a dynasty with the Buffalo Bulls. They are a one-star program. I'm going to build them up, turn them into a power, all that good stuff. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have a new offense, new defense, new recruiting strategies and house rules, and that's what I want to start with first. This is a one-star program, and somebody made a good suggestion on this is a good way to challenge myself is to only recruit to your level of program prestige. So that means I can only recruit one-star players until I become a two-star program, and so on and so forth. Now, this particular file is a brand new Dynasty file. I'm not using the Tulane file. I was thinking about doing that, but I decided not to because it didn't make sense for me to have like a high-profile coach come and coach little, one-star Buffalo. It just didn't make sense. So this is a brand new file. And speaking of that Tulane file, I have put that latest one in the NCAA Football 06 folder in the vault with a disclaimer, just because it's kind of modded a little bit, so it may not work on your end. I'm just kind of forewarning you there. But that is in the past. I had a whole lot of fun with Tulane, but now we got to move on with Buffalo. And we're going to do the preseason. Now, I've already went ahead and created my coach, and that's why we're starting here at Coach Strategy. I brought back the mullet. Otherwise, the rest of my profile is the same. It says Playbook of Florida, but of course, we're going to use our own playbook, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Our offensive type, we're going to run the most modern type of spread offense that I can pretty much put together. A lot of it's going to be read option and RPOs, true play actions, a lot of the mesh look in terms of halfback dive, halfback off tackle. Of course, the read option with that, the PE read, all of that looks exactly the same. We're going to throw in some screens and some drop backs as well. And this will be a tougher offense to run, but I should still be pretty effective with it, I think. It just won't be as much or hardly any of speed option and no halfback direct, none of that stuff. So I'm really excited about that. Never really put all that together in a package on offense, and really looking forward to unleashing that in this series. Defense, we're going with the 4-2-5, and it's been a while since I've used this particular defense. It was in my Washington State Dynasty. I've done it for 2 seasons. I had no problems with it. I went back to the 4-3 after that, but I'm really looking forward to running some of this. It's a little bit different than the 4-3. I'm going to be running a lot of cover 1, cover 3. You're going to see a whole lot of that in the games, of course, but we're going to go with a 4-2-5. So this is going to be a little bit tougher challenge schematically, but just something different and refreshing, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, the rest of this is all simulation. None of that matters because I'm not simming anything. If you go over to CPU assistance, I have both of these turned off. Always make sure you have them turned off unless you just don't want to recruit or don't want to deal with the discipline side of things. Let's go over to report card. And congratulations on being appointed the new head coach of Buffalo. Again, we're a one-star school. The previous season, they were 2-9, so they're about as bad as you can get for an FBS school. And if you look at our contract info, very simple. Have a winning season, receive a bowl bid. Hopefully we can achieve some of that in those first 3 seasons. The next thing I want to look at is our playbooks, as we just talked about what type of offense I'm going to run. This is nothing but shotgun. It's been a while since I've done this. I guess probably that Mississippi State Dynasty when I've done something similar. But that's particular dynasty or that offense was nothing but like a ton of speed option, some halfback direct and rollouts, and I'm not doing any of that. So again, just a lot of shotgun. All this has a bunch of RPOs and read options and halfback dives, and that's kind of what I was looking for. So going to be really neat, but you've seen a lot of these formations and plays. However, I am working on version 4 of my master playbook, so you're going to see some newer things, some updated plays throughout, and that's going to be updated throughout the dynasty. Next up, oh yeah, speaking of, I'm going to go back. If you go back to audibles, I haven't fixed these yet. I will by the time I start the news, the first game. I am going to be very audible heavy, not super reliant, but they're going to be in there, and we're going to be hurry up. This is another rule. Somebody made a really good suggestion on this. I'm not going to do any running of the clock until I get in the 4th quarter. I think that's a good, simple rule. That's a nice medium between. Some people think you shouldn't run clock at all. Running clock, I think, is very smart, especially if you're not very good. But I don't want to use it all the time, so I'm going to hold off to the 4th quarter. But otherwise, we're going to kind of pep this thing up a little bit and kind of get this thing going. We're going to throw a lot of plays out on some defenses, and hopefully I can do some no huddle. Really excited about all that, and it's going to be really cool to see that unleashed. Now that we've talked about all of that, let's go to our preseason options. Let's talk about our schedule. I've already got it set up. We have one ranked team on the schedule, and this is kind of my rule. I've stuck with it forever, and it seems pretty realistic. Anytime I'm a one-star program, I got one ranked team on the schedule. If I'm going to be a three-star program, I'll have three. Now, I am in the MAC conference, so I can't change any of these. So I only got 3 spots available to put a ranked team in there. And we're going to go with Boston College, and they're just kind of close to where we are, and they're ranked. And that is week 2. The next week, we got at Syracuse. It just made sense for me to schedule Syracuse. They're the other New York team in the game. And hopefully I could schedule them every single season. It just makes sense to do so. Next up is Temple. Like I mentioned earlier, Temple was the other team that I was going back and forth on between them and Buffalo, and I picked Buffalo, of course. And somebody made the suggestion of putting Temple on the schedule. So there you go. They are our first home game. And then we got nothing but conference games after that. No non-conference beyond that last game. This is an 11-game schedule. I'm keeping it the same as everybody else. And it's going to be a pretty fun schedule. It's all up in the Northeast, pretty much, up in the Midwest in terms of especially your conference schedule. And it should be a whole lot of fun, and I can't wait to get that one started. Let's go over to Redshirt Players, and we can finally look at our roster a little bit. Now, again, this is the 2005 file. I'm not using the next ISO. They don't have the updated one ready yet. I'll use that in the next Dynasty. So this is the 2005 rosters with my name rosters, all that good stuff. And let's go ahead, and if you notice with Buffalo, they got 66 total players. A pretty good distribution. We got a ton of seniors. But 15 juniors, 16 sophomores, 17 freshmen. Let's start off at quarterback. Now, my offense, it would help if it had somebody who could run the ball a little bit. Now, I've already hit and redshirted somebody. I maybe waste my time redshirting this kid, Drew Willie. He'll probably never see the field. I probably will be recruiting over him pretty quickly. And you notice I don't have much talent here at quarterback. 74, 72, 72. None of these guys can run the ball much. And this offense helps if you have a quarterback that can run at least a little bit. I mean, the base run concept of my offense is the read option, the QB choice. That's why we're probably going to start Hemingway. We'll look at the depth chart a little bit later. But anyway, this is my quarterback room. Not a lot to look at, but I do have one guy redshirted. Halfback, we got some decent talent here. Unfortunately, we got 4 guys that all kind of look the same. One of them is an impact player, Chris McDuffie. He'll be our main starter just for that reason. But all 4 of these guys are kind of the same. Unfortunately, have been redshirted, so I can't really do anything about that. But I did redshirt one true freshman down here in Ike Induka. I hope I said that correctly. Fullback, we're not going to use the fullback at all in this offense, so I went ahead and redshirted a couple of guys. That way I don't have to recruit at this position. I may even have the game put a walk on here in time. But we got one guy there. He's got 72 speed. I'm not gonna use him much. Just really don't need to. Wide receiver, we got some talent here, but not a whole lot. 82, 76, then it's getting kind of bad. 72, 72, 70, 68. It is what it is. We're gonna have to recruit this one really hard. And I did redshirt a junior, Evan Wallace. The only reason why I've done that is because Bro is my X receiver. He's my left receiver. Dawson, look how small this guy is, 5'7", 181. He's going to be a slot receiver. I could have redshirt Kissabeth, which I think is a great name. I'm putting him at my Z receiver due to his size, and he's got as much speed as anybody else. And then we got a 4th receiver, Brian Watson. This guy's going to be interesting. He's 6'5", 225. I'm actually going to play him at tight end quite a bit, and he'll be my number 4 slot receiver, or technically my number 2 slot receiver in our 4 wide sets. And we're going to look at the formation subs, all that good stuff in the next video. But I did redshirt Evan Wallace for that fact because we just need some bodies. Because as you can see, we got 3 upperclassmen in that room. Tight end, we got a guy's 82 overall. The problem is he's really slow. He can catch a little bit, but that slowness is it doesn't help a whole lot. But he'll be on the field a little bit, but now you can see why I'm going to move Watson over. I'm going to do that via formation subs and such. Offensive line, 85 and 76, 74. It is what it is. We can't redshirt anybody. You go over to guard, 80, then 72, 68. It's not very good. And again, I can't redshirt anybody here. Same with center. This is even worse. We need some help here in the worst way. Defensive ends, we got one decent one and a couple average, and it just, again, it gets worse and worse after that. I can't redshirt any of them. Now, this is another recruiting rule. I'll go ahead and mention this now. I am going to recruit natural defensive ends. I'm not going to bring a linebacker down. I don't consider that cheating. I've been using it for years. That's just the game. They just didn't understand that, hey, linebackers make better defensive ends than natural defensive ends. They just didn't think a step ahead when they created the game. But I'm going to recruit natural defensive ends for this position, which means linebackers will stay at linebackers, safeties will stay at safeties, so on and so forth. But you go back to the defensive ends, again, I can't redshirt anybody. Defensive tackle, pretty good. One guy, 84 overall, but he's a senior. And that's a pattern. I noticed I haven't said anything about this, but there's got a lot of senior starters. Here's two guys that are seniors. I'm going to redshirt this guy, Mark Abraham. He's a really small dude, but I need the bodies because you can tell we got three seniors at defensive tackle. Linebacker, specifically outside linebacker, not a whole lot to work with. We'll just have to recruit this very hard. And my one starter, you got to remember this is the 4-2-5. I'm starting one middle linebacker and one outside linebacker, and that's the guy who's going to be on the field the most. I may end up having Bublavi do some of that, only because he's a little bit faster. It's a problem, to say the least, so I may change my mind on that a little bit later. Middle linebacker, we got one pretty decent one. Problem is, he's a senior, he'll be gone, and we got nothing behind him. But thankfully, in this offense, I don't need a lot of depth at middle linebacker. I'll have 3 on the roster at most. Quarterback is another position. I don't need a lot of bodies. I need like 4 at the most. I may do 5 just to have one to redshirt if I can get to that point. I got 2 decent players, and we're going to run 4-2-5 pretty much exclusively. So these guys down here ain't going to see the field hardly at all. I do have one redshirted. This guy's a senior. I didn't want to bother. This guy's a sophomore. It made sense, and this guy's just not good enough to redshirt, honestly. I mean, I could go ahead and do it. Oh, it's not even going to let me. That's why I redshirted this guy. He's just much better. Free safety, this is our biggest problem on defense. We just have no talent whatsoever. I am redshirting. We got 2 true freshmen. I'm going to redshirt one of them. Strong safety, this is like the key position on the defense, or one of the bigger ones. We got 2 strong safeties on the field at all times. And I could have redshirted this guy, and I may do that. I don't know how often these guys get tired. This guy's a junior. All 3 of these guys are juniors, so I'm just not going to redshirt any of them. I think they're going to interchange out, swap out, and such, and I need him as a backup. Kicker, we got 2 of them. We don't need 2. We only need 1. Thankfully, we got a redshirt freshman who could be our starter for a couple more years. And we got a punter who's pretty good, and he's just a sophomore, which is nice. So that's one position we don't have to recruit for a couple of seasons. So let's go over to rosters. Let's go to our depth chart, and we'll quickly just run this down. DeTwan Hemingway, he is our starting quarterback because of his speed, 76 speed. You look at the other 2 quarterbacks along with him. He doesn't have the throw power, but that is okay. His throwing accuracy is really no different than these 2 guys. But the biggest reason why I'm starting him is because his speed, we're going to need it. I don't think our offensive line is going to do very good protecting on running and blocking, so we're going to need his legs. And unfortunately, these other 2 guys just don't have good enough arms for me to deal with. So dual threat quarterbacks will definitely going to be a need going forward. Halfback, pretty simple. We got McDuffie, and we got 3 other guys who are just as good as him. In time, I'll figure out how to distribute the carries for these guys, but for now, we got McDuffie, and these 2 guys are going to split it. I got a junior, and I got a redshirt freshman. The catch rating for this freshman is really good. I don't know how much my halfbacks will catch the ball. They'll be catching the ball more from my RPOs than anything else. So, again, I'll just figure that out in time. But for now, this is what we got to set up. Fullback, again, we'll never see this guy on the field hardly at all. If he was much faster and could carry the ball or catch it, I would give him the ball more, but he just doesn't have that. Wide receiver, like I mentioned, Bro's on the left, Kissabez on the right, Dawson's in the slot, and then Watson's going to be our other slot / tight end. Now, I can go over ahead and put him at my number 1 tight end, but I got him as my number 3, but I'm going to show you in the next video, do a little formation sub trick, how he's going to be a little bit better than that 65. Left tackle, okay, just the offense line's pretty simple. Got 80, everybody is who they're supposed to be. I don't have a lot of depth in a lot of these spots, so I got really good backups or the best ones that I can find for each of these positions. So we'll see how that goes. So let's go over to the defense. Nothing really changes. Now, I do have a right end starting at left because I just, for whatever reason, whoever plays on the left end tends to get more sacks than the guy on the right end. So it just makes sense to have my best defensive end start at left end, even though they got him listed as such and I can't change it over. So the other good defensive end is actually a left end playing right end, if all that makes sense. But that's the way I got to set up. Either way, put your best defensive end at left end. He tends to do better. Defensive tackle, pretty simple. I just got them in order. This is the trick with the 4-2-5. You only got two linebackers out there, a middle linebacker and a right outside linebacker. It is the right outside linebacker position that determines who your starting one outside linebacker is. That's why I got my three best outside linebackers over here under this particular position. So if you go over to formation subs, you go to the 4-2-5, this guy's going to pop up at right outside linebacker or that one spot. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. Quarterback, pretty simple. Just my top two guys. Nothing special there. Free safety, there's not much I can do here. I've looked at trying to move a strong safety over, but unfortunately this game, it's a mistake on their part. They just didn't think, hey, strong safeties can actually play free safety as well. A lot of times in my offense, they can kind of be interchangeable. This one, maybe not so much. But strong safety, I got Guzman, Van, and Sadie. I hope I said that correctly. And then you got kicker. I got my top kicker, that true redshirt freshman. Then I got the punter and punter. Again, just very simple stuff. Now, when it comes to kickoff or kick return and punt return, I got three receivers. I'm a big believer in having guys who can catch the ball. The last thing you want is somebody who drops it. And yes, I got, like you can see down here, Jamara Williams would be a better returner. The problem is he can't catch very well, 65. And all it takes is one time for him to fumble it, drop it, and I'm going to just move him somewhere else. I just went ahead, put our fastest receivers over here, and Kisabev, Dawson, Bro, I got them in the same lineup, same setup for kickoff return and punt return. Kickoff starter, just your best kicker. And center, or your long snapper, I just usually put my backup center. In this case, I got two terrible centers, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go over to program standards, and it is a little less than half. So we're in a good position here. It'd be nice since we got so many discipline points to play with. I can lower that down some this year if I can. Next thing I want to do is go to that formation subs that I was mentioning earlier, and I go ahead and show you what that tight end thing does. So you notice right here, this is our true starter in Upshaw. He's the slow tight end. But I want to put in that big, fast wide receiver right there. Well, you notice Watson, this is him, is 65 overall. So you would just assume if I put him right there, he's going to be a 65 overall. If you do that in the depth chart, yes. In formation subs, no. So if I select this guy, put in Ben Watson, what happens? Now he's a 72. So it just changes a little bit. So when we start our first game, you got to do this during the game. This doesn't carry over if you do it outside, so I got to wait until we play our first game to do that. So that's something to think about. If you can switch around some dudes and whatnot, but I'm going to change that back for now. Because, again, I got to do this while we're playing the game. The next thing I want to show you was that defense. If you go to the 4-2-5, notice who is playing our one outside linebacker spot. Sanders. Again, this is the right outside linebacker position, so put all your best outside linebackers here if you're running the 4-2-5. Next, let's go to View Edit Rosters, and the only thing I want to see here is who my captains are. I got Williams as a captain, makes sense, and I probably have Love, left tackle, as my captain on offense, and that is correct. Now, one thing about this guy right here, and I'll go ahead and mention it, you go over to your tackle positions. My offense, we're going to be running the ball a lot to the left. Unless I flip formations, I'm going to try to get used to doing more of that. But because I'm going to be running to the left a lot, I want my best tackles playing at left tackle for that very reason. If I can get over there to it, there we go. My best run blocker, I want him to be my left tackle in terms of the tackles. My best guard, probably playing left guard, that type of thing. So that's why I got a lot of those set up, but I really can't worry about that now because I don't have a whole lot of talent to play with anyways. but I wanted to point that out. So what do we have next? I think we are ready to go over to Athlon Sports, go to preseason polls, and here we are again. This is the 2005 season, so it's USC, Tennessee, Iowa, Oklahoma, so on and so forth. You sort this, and there we are. We are 116th in the country. Not very good at all. We just got a lot of work ahead of us. We got a D+ on offense. We need talent in the worst way. Our C+ at defense isn't terrible for the conference. But speaking of, you go over to, we'll look at the conference outlook here in a minute. You look at the Heisman Watch, it's the same 5 guys that have been there forever and ever. You go to preseason All-Americans. I know we won't have any All-Americans on the team, first or second team, but we will check our conference teams. So let's go and do that. Let's go over to the MAC. Really excited about being in this conference. It's been a long time. So my fullback is he's on the first team, but again, he's just not going to touch the ball much because he can't do much with it. He just don't have the skills for it. Zachary Love, my left tackle, is on there. Who else? We got our defensive tackle, Rob Schroeder. Hopefully he'll play well for us this year. And I hope I said his name. I'm calling him Jamara. It could be Gamara. I assume it's Jamara. Either way, he's a first-teamer. Then you got second team. You go down. Do we have anybody? And it looks like we do not. Just very slim pickings on that front. Let's go to Conference Outlook. Now, we got 2 divisions. They have us as the second worst team in the conference with Ball State. You go over to the East. This is our division. This is what we're going up against. Bowling Green is really talented. They got that really good speedy quarterback. Miami of Ohio is really good. Akron, they got some dual threat quarterbacks. And then, thankfully, we got Ohio and Kent State. Neither of these teams are all that great. So hopefully we can compete with these guys pretty quickly. Next up, let's go over to toughest places to play. There's nothing to see here. We'll never have our field on here. And our stadium is pretty cool, but you're not going to see that for a couple of games. But it's pretty neat, but we'll never be on here, so this won't really matter. In-season recruiting, again, we are a 1-star program, so I'm not recruiting any of these guys. I can't until I become a 3-star program. Now, I think the next mod, you can recruit 1 to 2 stars during the season, but this is not what I'm using. So, again, this is nothing but 3-star kids. So, hopefully, in 2 to 3 seasons, I'll become a 3-star program, and we can start doing some in-season recruiting. And that is it. There's nothing else I can really show you. We are done with preseason. Our next video, we're going to take on Boston College. They run a pro-style offense, I think a 4-3 defense. It's going to be by far our hardest game of the season. Hopefully, we can just, keep it fair and consistent, keep it kind of close. Hopefully, we'll have some fun with the offense and the defense, and I'm really excited about it, and I hope you are too. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.